So one thing, I think I may have talked about it on the course with the two of you, what I like to talk about is, okay, what is our lie like? So that's step one. What's the lie like? Are we in the rough? Are we in the fairway? Is it wet? Is it firm? From there, I want to then go ahead, okay, what kind of shot do I need to hit? Where do I need to land this based on the pin placement? So here we have a pin in the front, we have a pin in the back. There's two completely different approaches to that. The pin in the front, I have to hit high. The pin in the back, I can hit a mid flight or a low flight. If I hit the high one, if I just catch it too clean, it might fly too far. So it's all about approaching that strategy. Once I figure out where I want to land it, that's where I then choose my club. Okay, I'm gonna go, let's say I go to the front pin. I'm gonna go more loft, higher shot. And there's a lot of different ways I can hit a high shot versus a low shot. So one principle I always say is we always want to engage the bounce appropriately for the shot. So I tell everybody, I change my grip specifically for this wedge shot because I need to bounce to engage differently. So if I took my full swing grip, where you're going to notice here, so Kaz, if you want to come around just between them, they can stay right there. If I keep my full swing grip, when I take this back, that's a square club face. But the issue is my bounce isn't engaged. If I'm not, taking that powerful shot and rotating like I would, the club's going to enter the ground differently for a wedge because I'm going to be swinging a little softer. What I do is I take my right hand and I get a little bit weaker. What this does, it engages the bounce, and I didn't change a thing, but now the toe's more up. Now, as long as I release the club the right way and turn, it's going to go straight. If I don't turn and I don't release the club the right way, it's going to go to the right. So as long as we release it right, we'll be fine. So what I do here is I just weaken up the grip, and I just let their hands and wrists relax. So we just have a little bit of a hinge. So what I like to think is we're just going to go to this mini, what I call a mini L. So it creates the letter L. So I'm just thinking mini L, relax with the club on the way down. I want to make sure that we're going to rotate and pivot forward. So at the finished position, we're going to have, if I had lasers on my shoulders and hips, all four of these lasers are going to be at the target. I'm going to have my heel to the sky. Similar to a full swing, but with this grip, it's going to get our speed down and we'll be able to control that distance a little better. Now going into controlling distance, I like to think of constants and variables. So what I mean by that is my backswing is the variable, my finish is the constant. So I know if I was to take the club back to here and swing through to my shoulder here, I'm gonna hit it 30 yards. If I swing back to about sternum high, it's gonna go 40 with my sandwich. If I go shoulder to shoulder, it's gonna go 50. And that's carry distance. And obviously if we wanna get anywhere in between, we can go between or change lofts. So it all comes down to just, again, this is a lot of practice and knowing that. Today is gonna be more about making the motion. Now, if I wanna flight it lower, it's gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna change my grip to be actually a little bit stronger in the right hand, and I'm gonna release it a little differently. So if I hit this high shot here, I'm gonna put my hand more on top. And for me, I'm just thinking, okay, let's say I'm gonna land this in the yellow. How far do you think that is?
40 yards.
40? Okay, so I'll take my 40 swing. So I'm gonna get my hand a little bit more on top. I'll swing to here, and what I do to talk about process, what I like to do with my process is I'll take it back and kind of stop in the position I wanna be in, and I'll just let the club drop with the weight of the club. The reason I do that is because I see too much tension in most people, especially if we're playing a match or maybe we're feeling rushed. There's always too much tension. And what I like to do is I like to take all the tension out, so I just take it back to my position. I let gravity take it down, gravity take it down. Then what I do two swings is here, and then I go to my finish. So I'm trying to take the tension out, but then I add that swing in. So it's almost like I'm just gonna drop the club. As that club drops, I'm swinging through. So it's just relaxed. So one more of those here to my position. Again, this is gonna be hopefully the higher flighted shot. Pretty good. Okay, so I carried it just a little long, but that's just a really relaxed, I'm using a little bit more hinge. So now the lower flighted shot, again, this is good if we're trying to hit the lower one. I'm just gonna a little stronger grip, and instead of my release being what I would call like a ball toss, it's gonna be more of a little bit just of a roll. So it feels like the toe of the club's just gonna win the race just a little bit. So I'm gonna get the grip a little stronger. Same ball position, I'm playing everything in the middle. I'm gonna release the hands a little more, comes out a little lower. And I'm not changing anything dramatically, I'm just changing the grip and how my hands work through the ball. So the high shots, the hand's a little bit weaker, a little bit more hinge here, a little bit more almost like I'm gonna underhand toss it towards you like this. So that hand's here, underhand toss. When I finish there, you notice my hand's more to the sky. Club face is matching my hand, it's up. The club face points back at me. The lower flighted shot, I have a stronger grip. I still have this hinge, but when I release it, the toe's more up. And both those shots came out relatively straight, and all I did was just change my grip, change how I released it, and made sure my body kept motion through the shot. So our keys here in setup are pretty similar to the chip. Ball's middle, weight is gonna favor the front foot about, let's say 55, 60%. Our motion is almost the exact same. We have that little press into the ground. And then from there, just rotate through. The only difference is how we're hinging the club and how we're gonna use our grip to flight the ball. Any questions on that? All right, let's get started.